Blaze Entertainment released the Evercade VS Console system well over 6 months ago. I did participate and got the Founders Edition when this product was originally announced, and then when it was released and shipped to me and I got it, I never actually filmed a review. I am a fan of the Evercade handheld. As you can see, I own pretty much almost all the cartridges. Some of them are still wrapped in plastic because I like to play through the cartridges before I move on to the next one, so I still got a ways to go. But what really excited me about the VS console when this thing came out 6 months ago was the addition of them now including arcade games, not just console games. And you guys know me, I love my arcade games. So since I missed my original review, here we are 6 months later, and the question I'm going to try and answer for myself is, was it worth it? Back when I got the Founders Edition, it did come with 6 cartridges, 2 controllers, as well as the console system, and a couple other goodies in the box. So overall, it was a really nice value for the Founders Edition. I got 4 arcade cartridges with lots of great arcade games, as well as 2 console cartridges. And then I just picked up the Galco Arcade 2 collection. I'm missing number 5, but I got that on order. It should be delivered hopefully within the next couple of days. Again, this is what makes the Evercade unique, in my opinion, in this crowded retro gaming handheld market, is the fact that, you collect cartridges, baby. The console itself had a nice slim design to it. It felt pretty good in my hands. You had the 4 USB ports for multiple controllers. This flip-top door for the cartridges, in my opinion, felt very cheap and awkward. I'm always worried that I'm going to break that, opening and shutting it. But it's really nice and simple to just plug in multiple cartridges. But that's what's really cool about this versus the handheld, is that you're able to have multiple cartridges in there, and some of the cartridges even unlock bonus games depending on the cartridges that you have plugged into the console. Nice little power button, you just have to hold it to turn it on, hold it to turn it off. Nothing too fancy there. And then on the back of the unit, you have an HDMI port, as well as your micro USB for power. And then, of course, this unit does come with Wi-Fi. No Ethernet, but it does come with Wi-Fi. Overall, minus that flimsy door that covers the cartridges, I was pretty impressed with the slim design as well as the black coloring on this. The Founders Edition came in black. If you missed out on the Founders Edition, you ended up getting a white one that kind of matches the white handheld. But from a design perspective, I really like the look of it. The Founders Edition package did come with 2 controllers, which was really nice, and of course they match the color scheme on the Founders Edition console system. I think if you order these today, they'll end up being white in color versus the black. Do come with a 6-foot USB cable, so plenty of reach. If you have this mounted on an entertainment center and playing on your television. The controllers themselves, I did like the setup. I like the trigger buttons, L1, L2, R1, R2. As well as I did like the buttons themselves, the A, B, X, Y. I thought those all had a good feel to it. Rest of the controller simple, start and select. A menu button in the very center. You did have the D-pad right here, kind of a disc D-pad. I wasn't a big fan of it, nor was I a big fan of the weight of the controller. It does fit nicely in the hands, it's comfortable to play, no issues from a playing point of view. It just didn't feel amazing, but it works. When I first used this 6 months ago and I held down that power button and I saw that cool little LED light when you power on the console and it kind of changes color, I thought that was really cool, nice little touch. Sometimes it's the little things, baby. And of course, when the game loads, you get your Blaze Entertainment, you get your Evercade VS logo, etc. Now, the user interface has multiple themes, which I really like. This is just your standard black theme. And of course, the first thing you want to do with your VS console, or something you should check regularly if you don't follow their forums, is head on down into the options, make sure you're connected to your Wi-Fi, and check for updates. There's also secret codes you can enter, etc. to get additional bonus stuff. But you definitely want to head on down to the system, and you'll see this particular Evercade VS console is on 2.0. There have been some updates since then, so we're going to connect to Wi-Fi and download the updates, because I never downloaded them. And the latest firmware updates and a very exciting change that I found out about is what prompted me to finally update this system, and also prompted me to make this 6 months later review video. On the left-hand side of the main menu, you'll notice that they added a star option, and when you click on that, they now have this really cool Game of the Month feature. So every month, they're going to download a game to your system directly with the firmware update, and you're able to play that game. We updated to 2.13, we're going to update again to 2.15, and we'll have access to the latest game. Once I was on the latest firmware, 2.15, headed back over to the Star, and the new game of the month for August is Anguna Scourge of the Goblin King. So this has been downloaded to my system, I can go ahead and play this game, and every month they are going to include a new game from the Indie Heroes collection until that collection is actually released, and I'm assuming they might give us previews of upcoming cartridges in the future. This is a very awesome option in my opinion, and it really impressed me that Evercade Blaze Entertainment added this. This is a super cool dungeon crawling game, and I've never heard of it before, never played it before, but I've really enjoyed playing it while filming this review video. The product's been out for over 6 months, and has Evercade improved the user interface? Not really, but then again, did they really need to? I think the user interface on here is actually pretty good. Love the box arts for all the individual games, no matter what cartridge you have put in. And they have the ability where you can change themes. Everybody loves this particular theme. I see this a lot in videos. You could change your aspect ratios. You know, you could use pixel perfect. You could use original ratio. You can stretch games to fit a full screen on a 16:9 monitor. But then again, why would you if the games aren't meant to be played in that ratio? You have your scan lines, which I hardly ever use. You have these side bezels, which are nice. You could always pick which ones you want to play. Always enjoyed this option. And then, of course, the ability to add scan lines on the main menu if you wanted them on the menu itself and not just the games. Overall, the options were always really nice on this. And of course, you can toggle the sound music on the main menus. Do you want to have that background music playing, which it's kind of hokey, so I'm going to turn that down. And of course, the sound effects on the menu, I like having that all the way up, etc. You can check your network, your Wi-Fi, you could go to accessibility, toggle high contrast mode, change the languages, etc. 6 months ago when I got this product, what excited me the most about it was the ability to play arcade games, with them coming out with arcade cartridges, and now they're up to 6 cartridges with more collections to come. So far we've seen arcade cartridges from Galco, Data East, Atari, and Technos, and hopefully more publishers and licensors will come on board the Evercade platform. A lot of these games you've seen before. If you own AtGames Legends Ultimates or iArcades, you have access to these games on those platforms as well from an arcade form factor. And the separate in-game options when you hit the menu button on your controller when you're in-game, including quick saves, load last saves, save states, and adjusting scan lines, shaders, and bezels on the fly and aspect ratios, was a nice touch as well. Due to the success of the Evercade handheld system over the last couple of years, as well as this success of the Evercade VS Console itself, this thing that came out 6 months ago, the library is constantly expanding. They're getting bigger and better licenses, more opportunities coming soon, lots of great indie hits, over 30 handheld console cartridges, as well as over, 6 arcade cartridges with more to come. A console system that does have the power to play PlayStation-type games as well as Nintendo 64-type games. I mean, I guess things are going well enough that they have an even newer, more improved Evercade handheld system coming out later this year. Pre-orders are live now for that EXP model, which I've covered previously on the channel. But where Evercade wins is all about nostalgia. Retro gamers that love collecting physical media, clamshells, cartridges, booklets, collections like these, is their target market. I myself have the ability to play pretty much every game they've ever released via nefarious methods. So the question is do I regret buying this 6 months later? And the answer is no, I don't regret it. 6 months later, here we are. I still have plenty of games still wrapped in plastic that my busy ass hasn't even gotten to, with more games and cartridges on the way, and looking forward to seeing what else comes down the line from Blaze Entertainment. I might not pick up their new handheld when that comes out later this year. I have the VS Console already, which I think is more than sufficient for running everything on their system, as well as their original handheld works just fine with a wonderful assortment of games. I don't regret my purchase, I just wish I had more time. I regret my schedule. I regret the fact that I don't have time to play all these games. Usually it's because I'm tied up with job, family, and of course, filming content for my YouTube channel. But man, I really wish I could go through all these cartridges every single game. And I think if I actually had the time to really invest and play every single cartridge that I own, I probably would absolutely fall in love with this system, because I do enjoy the nostalgia factor. And sometimes it is nice to pay for things and, collect things, versus just downloading stuff off the internet. Makes you remember what it was like being a kid again. I just wish I had more time for this system, but I definitely don't regret owning it. I want to know what you guys think. What's your experience with the Evercade? And also, do you want to see more Evercade content on this channel? Do you want me to start covering the cartridges, game reviews, etc.? Leave me those comments, feedback, reactions below. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, guys. Give me a thumbs up on the way out. And as always, my dudes, thank you for subscribing.